Hey guys, what's going on? Drew Danger back here on the scene. Representing Team Kelly Slater, the greatest surfer that ever lived. Check it out. My championship Kelly Slater shirt. Very proud. Team Quicksilver, who he was riding for. Huge fan. Those of you that know, I am a big surfing fan of Kelly Slater. Surfing is a part of my culture, being from Southern California, and Kelly being one of the most amazing surfers on this planet. He's got more championships than anybody else, and he's just still killing it, being at 50 years old. And it's amazing. And so I'm very inspired by Kelly. And I just wanted to represent that today. So let's get into the topic, guys. Cut through it. Excuse me. Having a moment there. What we're talking about today is something that people had asked me about a lot in a lot of conversations, talking to a lot of different people, figuring out how to present this in the best way. And I said, well, hey, why don't I just go ahead and just go for it? Pretty much what this video is about is why did I leave the music scene? Why did I stop playing guitar? Why did I stop doing the band thing or trying to pursue that and leave the punk rock, rockabilly world, surf rock, because I kind of put surf rock roots in my playing with rockabilly, with my punk rock. That's kind of what I did. Why did I leave that? And this is a question that I get asked about a lot for people that did know me back then, and also people that found out, oh, you played guitar, you played in bands, like, well, why aren't you doing it now? Where's all your guitar equipment? Because I don't have any of it anymore. I actually owned two Gibson Les Pauls, and I had let me see, three acoustics, because I had an Oscar Schmidt Takamine. I had two Takaminis, and I feel like I had something else. It's been a while. And then I had a GT6 effects processor, so it was my multiple pedal setup, so I could do all the different effects I wanted to do. I had a crate head and cabinet. It was a big one. And then for practice, I had a Mesa Boogie that was all tube, and it was fantastic. So short term, I had the best gear you could have to do everything that you needed to do. All my two electrics, they had strap locks on them, the best ones you could get. I had hard cases for all my guitars. I put the best Elixir strings on it. Not the heavy, but the light, because the playing I did, it just kind of worked out better. I had everything lined up. Even my guitar straps are nice. So, but for those of you that don't know, I came from the punk rock world. Not this preppy Sum 41 Avril Lavigne nonsense. I'm talking like The Damned, The Dead Boys, Fear, TSOL, the Ramones, The Clash, in their heyday. We're talking 1970s, early 80s, later 80s, the Adolescents, stuff like that. The good stuff, the real punk rock stuff. That's the kind of stuff I was into, and that's what I played. I was also into traditional rockabilly. I like that. And then, in the 80s, of course, I was a big Stray Cats fan. I love Brian Setzer. Seeing the Stray Cats in concert, they were phenomenal. Saw Phantom Rocker, which is Lee Rocker, the bass player for the Stray Cats, his separate band. And they make some great music. Love the Reverend Horton Heat, which is more leaning towards the psychobilly realm. The Necromantics were cool. The Coffin Cats were great, so I was really into that. And I love the Ventures, and I love Dick Dale for the surf rock. Great stuff. I love Josie Cotton. She's not been putting out her traditional stuff lately. She's got I think her style's kind of changed. Back in the 80s, she was like playing with the Ventures and like really doing some really neat music. And seems like things have kind of changed for her. But anyway, that's just to give you an idea of what I was into. So, I started, really getting into that and playing and doing that whole thing. And I managed to, how would I put it? I managed to kind of do what I wanted to do with it to a point, and it fulfilled everything that I needed to. But the reason I'm pointing this out is because there's another side to this where I had left the whole thing. I had walked away. I haven't worn a band shirt in years. I walked away from everything because here's the thing, boys and girls out there. I got really tired of trying to appease everybody. I got really tired of trying to live up to everybody's expectations as a musician. I just felt like, look, my guitar, my gear, the bands I choose to get wrapped up with and playing, or if I'm solo doing my thing, that's my deal. That has to do with me. So I get to bring my flavor and what I do out there. And no one should be able to kind of tell me what to do. And what really turned me off to the music scene in a lot of ways, in all music, it's especially when people find out that you play instruments or you're trying to do that, they want you to play like the stuff they're familiar with. So like, yeah, I enjoy playing guitar. I do this. I would be somewhere and I would say that. And people would go, oh, can you play Santana? And I'm just like, I don't know. I've never really tried to play Santana. Oh, you should definitely try. Because you like Santana? Okay, it didn't bother me. All right, whatever. But it got to a point where that was the kind of conversation I had with people. Nobody ever asked me. A lot of people never asked me, kind of like, hey, what do you like? What do you want to do? What style do you like to play? And do you enjoy it? And is it important to you? They never seemed to ask me about that. I felt like in a lot of ways people were very selfish with that because they just wanted you to see the music that they liked all the time instead of like what you would want to do. Like my parents are a prime example of that. I remember every time an award show was on and somebody would play and I'd walk past the TV and my dad would be like, oh yeah, look at that guy play the guitar. I said, yeah, that's pretty cool. And he's like, yeah, can you do that? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe, I guess I could probably do it, but I really don't know. I haven't tried it. And it's a simple answer. It's like, well, if I haven't tried playing that song, I don't know if I could play it. It's simple. Like, I've never tried it. And my dad would be like, oh, come on, you're going to have to learn how to play all this other stuff if you want to make it and be famous and play guitar and do all these shows. And I'm just like, first off, I never said I wanted to imitate people. Secondly, I have a band that we play, or if I'm by myself, I play the music that I like to play. I don't want to play what they're playing. Whatever stuff they're playing, I don't want to do it. It's not my mission to play everything they play at the Oscars. Like, I don't want to do that. And I bring that up because I'm pointing it this way, guys. In life, even outside of music stuff, people are trying to always get you to do things that you don't want to necessarily do or make decisions. And family can be the most notorious for that. People that you're close to can be the most notorious for that. They can twist your arm to, like, try to make you be and do and dress and feel, and my parents were so harsh about that, and it kind of drove me insane. That's what literally happened. The decline in the music world for me went down because my parents literally drove me insane. When I say insane, really insane. I was losing my mind because they were just like always trying to tell me how I should play, what I should do, what events I should play. And then, you had like people when I went to church back home in California, everybody coming up to me trying to get me to play like their style of music and their ideas. And I remember one time I had showed up to someone's house and I had played guitar there, like to show someone like my gear, and I played a little bit. And the guy, I let him use my guitar, and then he started playing like all this radio nonsense that was hot at the time. I don't know, this was probably like in 2007 or something like that. And all the other people got around, oh, he knows how to play that song. And they just like gathered all around him. And that's cool. But then people started to compare me, not because the guy was better than me, because he wasn't, but it was more, well, we want to hear those songs that we're familiar with. As an artist, you're always trying to bring something different and not something people recognize all the time. You're trying to play your own thing. You're trying to find your own fit, your niche, your place as an artist, and to develop your own style. And so because of that, I think people are very ignorant to the idea that there's much more than playing cover songs and sounding like everybody else. Like, I love Jimi Hendrix. I like Jimi Hendrix because Jimi Hendrix was different. He strived to be different. He did everything different. If he played a cover, he did it different than anybody else. He made it his own. And that's what I liked about Jimi, was that Jimi was truly a revolutionary when it came to that. And I was always blown away. You take Eddie Van Halen, and he did the tapping, and he figured out ways to like do things completely different with the guitar as opposed to anybody else. You take Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits. He did that fancy picking technique he would do. He did things differently. That was the stuff that really got me going, that turned me on to things. That's what I liked. I liked people that strive to be different, that did their own thing and did it their way. I didn't want to be stuck in the studio playing people's music all the time. That was never a dream of mine. I could never live a life, no matter how much they paid, just being a studio musician. And that's nothing to take away from anybody, but it's not my style. That never was my style. Some people can do that, and God bless them, that's awesome. But it's just not for me. And there's nothing wrong with me saying, hey, this isn't for me. But I found it to be very funny that people always want to paint a picture for you, and they're forcing you, literally twisting your arm to like play some song they want to hear. And it just drove me insane. It was like, I'm not a cover band. I'm not taking requests. If I play guitar, it's what I want to play. Unless somebody has hired me to play that, which they didn't. And I didn't really do stuff like that, but I'm just saying, unless they hired me and they paid me to play whatever, then that's one thing. But I just feel like sometimes people just feel like they have I don't want to say like, maybe like the freedoms to come over to you and talk to you about these things. and try to make you do them. And it's just like, no matter how much you would try to explain to people about, that's not really my thing and that's not really what I do, they're trying to like make you do it, you know? And the funny thing was, the people that really tried to point at you to do it know nothing about record contracts, know nothing about playing guitar, know nothing about what it takes and the practice that it goes into and everything. They know nothing about it. And that's what I found funny too, was like, wow. So that was one subject. The other subject was, how was it in the music world and hanging around people and other bands and other people and things of that nature. That interaction was okay to a lot of points. I mean, my best friend is in a legendary band in Los Angeles. They're not together right now, but they're known as Igor Spector. Very good band. Look them up. Very talented. My best friend is the lead singer, actually. They were great. Hanging around them was phenomenal. But what I found out was, if they weren't older people in the game and there were people around my age or younger, there was a lot of friction and there was a lot of problems. There was a lot of competition with people, to where it got personal, you know, because people really took a lot of stuff like that to heart. Like, they were aiming to be the next new hot band. And if you were playing in a band, or you were a musician that could be somewhat good or whatever, they would bring heat to you all the time sometimes. And that got old, you know, because again, I'm not playing for you. You know, I got into this, bought the gear with my own money so I could do what I wanted to do with it. And as the years went on, you know, I seriously started thinking about, like, well, gee, how important is this to me really, to keep continuing to do this? How important is it for me to keep playing and doing all these whatever events? Like, is it worth it, you know, for me? Like, did I accomplish what I wanted to? And I would say that, yeah, I did everything that I wanted to do with it. You know, it's just that everybody else felt like they had to add their 2 cents on everything. So, you know, at that point, and this is something that I would tell you guys, if it is the thing for you, don't let anybody stop you. But at that point, I was in such a low in my life. A lot of bad things had happened. A lot of band breakups. A lot of friendships torn up. You know, a lot of people coming and going. I was just at such a low. I was just like, the voices, I just let them get to me. And that was one of the worst things I ever did. You know, I let the voices get to me and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. And by that time, I had been playing like music and shows and stuff like that probably since I was about like 15. So I had been playing around that time. And I stopped when I was right at 27, 28 is when I stopped. Another thing, guys, is I also had played a show in high school. It was my first band, like when you're playing, you know, with guys you know in a band, you guys work together, put it together. It was our first show. And I was very nervous, but I was excited to do it. I had, we were playing a Beatles tribute concert, and the song we had was Come Together. And I learned the song. It was not difficult. It worked out great. And we had test ran it a couple times, and everybody's pauses, everything was perfect. We knew what we were doing. I know how we were handling it. And I performed the song, and I remember when I was there, I was on stage, and it's a big stage, a lot of lights, and we were the first. We went up first, so that was always nerve-wracking sometimes when you go first. First and last can kind of be a difficult thing. So we went up first. I played the show, and the song came out great. Everybody liked it, and I could see down in the audience, and I could see my dad, and my dad actually enjoyed it. He thought it was cool. He was like, oh yeah, the live music, he actually kind of liked it. But I had my 3 sisters there, and I remember my sister Chris thought it was, I don't know what she thought about it, but she was cool just to be there, so she didn't have a problem with it. But my other 2 sisters, man, they had the worst attitude that day. I was just like, so what do you guys think? Oh, I just want to go home. Yeah, just get your stuff and let's go home. You know, I'm like, did I play bad? They're like, I don't know. I couldn't recognize what you were playing, and I didn't know who was playing what, and I didn't know who was doing what. And I was like, there's 2 guitar players, myself and another guy, 1 bass player, 1 drummer. Okay. And you know, the bass player was singing. So it wasn't that hard. And it's the Beatles. Like, we didn't do our own rendition of it. We played it the way the Beatles played it. So you could hear everything and you know what was going on, you know, but they didn't care. And that was the other thing. I was like, that I would tell you, like, sometimes with your family members, they just don't care. And even when you're doing a performance and everybody else is liking what you're doing and knowing what you're doing and appreciates what you're doing, these people over here, your family members, they're not even paying attention. And they're supposed to be your family. And they're sitting in the front row, and you worked all, like, I think I worked on that song for, I don't know, I think we had like a month to put it together or something like that. So that whole month, you know, and I was very nervous because it was my first live show. So it was a lot for me to take in. But they had no idea what was even going on. They couldn't care. All they wanted to do was go home. And I wanted to stay at the concert and talk to people and talk to a lot of the older musicians that were there and really connect with people. And you know, that was really important to me. But they rushed my, because I wasn't driving yet. So they rushed my dad out of there, and they rushed me out of there. I think the guys that I was with, did they drive that day? I can't remember what exactly happened at that point. Like, but long story short, I couldn't get back home unless I didn't go back with them. And I never forgot that night, and I never forgot that moment, and it really, really hurt a lot. It sucked. That was my first show and my worst show. And it made me very reluctant to have any of my family there to see me play, because their response was always that, because that wasn't the first time when I had, you know, just played and, you know, people had wanted to hear me play and I played. They were like, I don't know that. I don't recognize that. And they had like a bad attitude about it. Like, I'm supposed to play something that they recognize, that they know. And people were coming to ask me to play. So guys, the reason I brought this video up is because a lot of people asked me about this, but I thought this would also be a good time to point to you guys to tell you that, hey, whatever it is that you do in life, do it for you, okay? Do it for the right reasons. Choose it for the right reasons. And make your peace with it. No matter what people say, if that is your, you know, drive, your destiny to do that, do it to the fullest. Do it bigger. Break the rules. Be better than anything out there, and just go do it. And don't listen. Don't be like me when I made the mistake. I just got tired of hearing everybody being negative, and then I just walked out. Now, I will tell you, but that was the only time and the last time that I ever did that. Because after that, everything I did in life, I went 110% lightning speed with it, and I let nobody stand in my way. And I had great success with it, and I was able to do some really cool things because I believed in myself and I didn't listen to the naysayers. See, I listened to the naysayers. I let it get in my head. And I'm telling you guys, don't let it get in your head. Okay? It's all right. It's cool. You'll handle it. Okay? Don't let those things mess you up, because family, sometimes friends, acquaintances, or random people will do things to mess you up because you're enjoying your life and you're doing something cool and they're not. Okay? Or they're just on a weird one that day. So don't let people mess you up. Do the best you can and run the best race that you want to run for you. Don't let anybody else mess you up. I'm telling you right now. Greatest mistake I ever made was that. If I wanted to walk out on music, it should have been on my terms. I walked out on music because I let everybody else's voice get to me. And ultimately, what ended up happening was we were, I think, living down near North Hollywood. I wasn't using my equipment. I wasn't playing anymore. I wasn't doing anything. And we were putting together some money to do some things. And I literally went down to Guitar Center in Hollywood and I sold all my guitar equipment. I sold all of it. I think all I had left was my effects pedal and a couple acoustics, but I gave those acoustics to kids that didn't have guitars, or their parents just didn't get them, or they couldn't afford it. I just gave it to them, made their day, got them started, and there you go. And then I sold the effects pedal, and I believe that was the last thing. And when that was done, the acoustics were gone. I walked away from everything, and I haven't touched a guitar since I was 27. I'll be 39 at the end of the month. I haven't touched anything since then, and it's almost like I can't even remember how to do it because I just blacked it out of my mind. I was so angry and turned away. I let people put me to that point and lower me down to that level. So I would tell you guys, don't do that to yourself. Believe in yourselves. Okay, guys? That's the video for today. If you got any comments, anything, please put them down below. Please subscribe. Reach out to me. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know what videos you guys want to see, okay? Thank you for listening. Drew Danger, out.